Hello, I'm Russell Brand, this is the Trews. It's a particular postcard from America, this. I'm just back in the United Kingdom after spending a week in America. What's been curious is that's the first time I've been in that country since Donald Trump became president, and there is a tangible and palpable atmosphere on the streets and in airports, an atmosphere of dissatisfaction. And if you think about it, even the most ardent Trump supporters are coming at it from a perspective of aggression. There's no one in the world going, since Trump became president, I just feel a lot more love and a lot more peace and a lot more at ease. The best case scenario is like finger pointing sort of, well, fuck you! That's the best you're going to feel, isn't it? Vindicated in your inner rage, which, as we know, is the fuel for Trump's ascent. Unaddressed rage, general disappointment with the political system that didn't present viable alternatives. I had several personal encounters that inform my personal account of what the phenomena of Trump means and what's happening in America. Think of that most obvious aphorism, the slogan of his campaign, "Make America Great Again." What I felt and what made my heart pang and my belly swirl was America is great. America is full of fantastic people. The counterculture of America has brought you Malcolm X, Dorothy Parker, Martin Luther King, Jimi Hendrix, F. Scott Fitzgerald. This country, this rolling country of creativity and beauty with its glorious nature, its incredible culture, its brilliant innovation and novelty and ideas, its intention of perfect democracy. All of that still hums in America. All of it is still present and accessible, but submerged by the inversion of its shadow. America's inability to address, I think, the cruelty of its foundation, not to have fully integrated, because by believing that America is united, it's called the United States of America, believing that it's the greatest country on earth, that's there by some, that meritocracy is the defining attribute, whether on an individual level or a national level. What you are saying is, what you're refusing to acknowledge is it was a country that was built upon genocide, and obviously as a British person, this is not a national identity issue, because with one of the key purveyors of colonialism around the world. And then, of course, slavery, that other great slur on the American identity. I feel that America's inability to correctly address its shadow has meant that the shadow has inverted and realised itself through the shadow figure of Donald Trump. And I suppose the easiest way to understand that is not on some sort of macro political analytical level, but through the personal experiences I had. When you meet Megyn Kelly and you think, oh, she's a human being, like someone that once worked on Fox News, so must have been to some degree, I don't know because I don't know her work particularly, but must have been peddling the ideas that Fox News is known for, by which I mean a kind of insular Americanism, a kind of pro-corporate, anti-socialist agenda. But she now at least seemed to me like an ordinary, attractive, bright, vivacious woman who had been somewhat traumatised by her brushes with Trump. And I love you in the daytime. Well done coming into the glorious light. You seem beautiful here. Thank you. And also when you meet her, the idea that he would say stuff like he said to her, seems like sort of galling and weird.
I have zero respect for Megyn Kelly. I don't think she's very good at what she does. I think she's highly overrated.
The other person that I met out there, curiously, and hung out with and is a friend of mine, is the actor and comedian Rosie O'Donnell, who, I think Trump has said things like, she's a fucking pig. And Rosie O'Donnell is like this glorious, vivacious, matriarch, warrior, light force, who tells stories and is open and vulnerable and kind and funny and pioneering and loving. And these are the very kind of figures that America should be celebrating. America's diversity, America's ingenuity, the excitement of America, of frontiers and pioneers and possibility, all broken down under the tiny thumb of unrealised self-loathing. I've spent a lot of time in America. I've lived there before. I've got a lot of American friends. There's something happening there that is deeply, deeply unusual. And I don't think that the solution to it is a political solution. I don't think it's like, I'll tell you what, let's just get a really good Democrat to run. I mean, yeah, if it's like Bernie Sanders, yeah, if it's someone that's talking openly about getting power to ordinary people, challenging the structures. Because what is the thing that Trump said that resonated most of all? Yes, the sort of somewhat romantic and oddly unrooted make America great again, but also drain the swamp. It's like we're going to break down these institutions institutions. We're going to challenge the banks and the financial institutions. We're going to give power to ordinary people. The rhetoric he used, like is often the case with far-right groups, and I think perhaps he fits into that category. Not that I'm suggesting Trump supporters are racist. No, I think far from it. I think that what's resonating is that sense of unfairness, injustice, of a country that this didn't happen overnight. America wasn't like everything's going really, really perfect, then Trump. It was like, no, loads of stuff was happening. Look at the things that happened under Obama, whether it's drone strikes in foreign lands, financial corruption, or race riots across the country. All these things were happening anyway. And people that have a left tendency, if they don't own that and acknowledge that, there is a risk of repeating the mistake, precisely because I think this happens on a psychological level, is the refusal to acknowledge and own your own shadow. What I feel needs to happen now is a genuine alternative to Trump. And to be an alternative to Trump, you can't be living in constant response to Trump, as I heard said when I was on Bill Maher, one of the political guys.
We got to go back to Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Ohio and attract voters who did not vote for Hillary Clinton, did not vote for Democrats, and try to get them to vote for Democrats in 2018 and 2020.
And the whole flavour of the Democrat movement was kind of one of, if only we could go back to Obama. Well, we can't go back to Obama, and why would we want to? Because it's Obama that led to Trump. No, we precisely need a kind of politics, where ordinary people feel empowered, that they're closer to power, that real change is happening, that whoever this system works for, this is the area that needs to change. Who are the corporate and financial entities that benefit from things staying this way? Is it possible even to address climate change from within this political model without breaking down capitalism in its current form, without addressing the limitations of democracy and the reason why it's led to such mass disillusionment? You can never end Trump. You will only repeat it or make minimal redresses. So I was in America and I met beautiful African Americans, beautiful women, literally women that have been offended by Trump. I went on all sorts of shows, from the highest to sort of giddiest, more esoteric sort of intelligentsia shows to the daftest, brightest daytime things. And again, it was confirmed to me, America is already great. It's a great country. But what it needs to do is to give real power to its real people. And that can only happen with genuine, real, systemic change. You don't need to make America great again. America is already great. But the thing that makes America great is its people. So get your power to its people. Change its institutions. That is not some true news. That's simply a man's opinions after a holiday. Subscribe here if you like it. Share it. Thank you.